The day of the vote was coming close. The party's attempts to convince the 5 Dukes of Morios to agree to send aid to Woodwillow had been fairly mixed, but their most recent attempt to woo a duke had been successful. You killed that jackass dragoon like you said you would. I'll hold up my end of the bargain. You'll have my vote. Hurrah! Victory! That's just 1 vote. I can't control the others. Conward acts nice, but he's spineless. Bigglesworth is a power-hungry asshat, and Cannonball will twist her deal and screw you over as soon as it suits her. And then there's the biggest asshole of them all, Duke Epsilon. Should we try to convince him to join us? We can try, but it won't work. He's an asshole. The party decided to use Pimit's airship to fly straight to the capital, whence requested to be allowed to travel on foot. She didn't like heights. Gale offered to stay behind and protect her from monsters as she traveled. A day before the meeting, the party landed in front of the Palace of Kings, terrifying the local army battalion until Graven jumped out to explain who they were. The soldiers all bowed as they saw him. Cool. I bet we can get away with anything in this town. So, something I probably should have told you guys earlier. Duke Epsilon is my dad. Oh shit, that must suck. Graven looked up at a bronze statue of his father sitting in front of the palace. Yeah, it really does. I think this is something I should do alone. When he entered, the Duke was sitting on a throne. "Ah, Graven, how long has it been?" "Not long enough. You must have waited a good 5 years before finally crawling back with your tail between your legs. And what a miserable time for you to return. Braza and Woodwill have been crushed, Pietra is being invaded, and now everyone wants us to stretch our hands out to save them. That's why you're here, right? To beg for my help? I'm not going to beg. You weren't the first to make an offer to me, you know. Mostella Wesel, a high-ranking official from the Empire of Steel, made a very compelling case this morning. What can you offer? Why should I use my vast influence to drag my country into war? Ugh, yeah, it's gonna be a hard sell to convince you to do the right thing for the first time in your life. How about this? If you fight, you get to show the might of Morios. You get to be a hero and crush evil. That's what you want, right? An excuse to pet your ego? And if that isn't enough, how about this? Don't be a fucking bitch. You always had such a way with words. Wesel offered me protection and power, but you called me a bitch. What to do? Make it so you don't need protection. Make it so you don't have to beg. Come on, you rant about the superiority of our bloodline every other goddamn day, but you want to make yourself weak with these petty alliances? You're not really living up to the standards of your father, his father, etc. You're just doing what's safe, bowing to the Empire because you're scared. Now that is what I like to hear, my boy. I'll be sure to think about this at the vote tomorrow. Why wait for the vote? Come on, Duke. Make a decision right here, right now. Choose to fight the Empire. I would love to, but alas, a family no longer holds the power our bloodline deserves. My voice is only as important as the voices of a fast casual restaurateur, a devil, an idiot shorter than his temper, and a disgusting old witch. Things were different when my father was a child. I dream of the day when proper power is returned to where it belongs, at the throne. The vote was scheduled for the next day at noon. The party arrived at 11. Epsilon was waiting, whispering to the representative from the Empire, a middle-aged man with greasy hair. "Hello, terrorists. My name is Mostella." "Oh hey, you must be that weasel guy Graven mentioned." Vixen petted Wesel on the head. "Why would you... I'm not an animal. I am a human being." "The Empire really sent their best, didn't they?" "Yes, actually, they did. Do you understand the complexities of creating a formal non-aggression treaty?" "Nope, but I know how to cast cloud of daggers." "Are you threatening me?" "Yes." "Typical of the brutes who stand in the way of our apotheosis. You must be aware that if you attack me, instead of settling things through debate like reasonable men, the Dukes will be made well aware of your lack of morality." "Want to put that to the test?" Wesel turned white. "No, I don't think I would like to do that." The other Dukes began arriving. Cannonball showed up with her accountant bullets. Vixen walked up and asked if they had sold his soul yet. Maybe, maybe not. I deal with so many souls in my line of work. By the way, I know about what your group did to Terry. Right, so about that, rest assured, I will hold up my end of our deal. Now, whether or not I'll keep your soul until the war ends, that remains undecided. By the way, how is Oros? Last I checked, he was covered in honey. Next came Bigglesworth, flanked by a squad of soldiers, and Conward, accompanied by Prince Nerium. A minute before the meeting was about to begin, Muddy Wench still hadn't shown up. The door to the palace opened, and in walked Gil, alone. He had traded out his torn rags for polished golden armor. Where's Muddy? She's running a bit late. I'll explain soon. Attention, everyone. The time for the meeting has come. Take your seats. Nerium, Prince of Woodwillow, is here to request aid, accompanied by a few high-ranking officers of his nation's military. Also in attendance are representatives from the Empire of Steel, who I will allow to make their own case. Prince, the floor is yours. Thank you. Woodwillow is in shambles. The Empire of Steel invaded 3 months ago. They have taken hundreds from our border farms back to Braza, where their souls were used to power an ancient machine. They destroyed the capital city of Fiore, killing thousands in the process. Our military cannot fight alone. We have kept control of the land around the capital, but the rest of the country remains occupied. We ask for aid to free our homeland. Mustela Wessel began to stand up for his turn to speak, but Gil waved a hand and he sat back down. That was a very stirring speech, young prince. But the obvious question remains. What does this have to do with Morios? Why should this proud nation throw away lives to preserve a nation they have no love for? What are you doing? The Empire of Steel is the indisputed strongest military on this continent. No one at this table wants a war with them. So why should Morios throw away the lives of their young men to save your throne? Because it's the right thing to do. But is it the smart thing to do? Excuse me, we haven't been introduced. Who are you? Forgive my manners. I am Gilderoy, son of Farum, or as I am more commonly referred, the Emperor of Steel. He gave a fake smile to the party. They glared at him. Vixen, to his credit, wasn't surprised. He had sensed something was wrong with Gilderoy from the moment they had met. I have admittedly engaged in some deceit recently. I first learned of the elite Woodwillow military unit sitting before you when they killed my general. After they attempted to assassinate my admiral, almost killing Duke Wurzbigel in the process, I decided I had to learn more about them. I approached them, pretending to be a common traveler, and spent a week observing them. Where is Muddy Wench? As I said, she is running a bit late. She should arrive in, about 2 hours. Right after the vote is complete. Perhaps. You kidnapped her! That's a very bold claim to make without evidence. And even if I did, that would not be the first act of political subterfuge carried out leading up to this debate. It's no different than, for example, all of the violence you have carried out. I can, however, guarantee that Wench is alive. The only way you can know she's alive is if you took her. Hugo stood up. I now locate Creature. If she's in the city, I can find her. We'll handle the debate while you look. Good luck, although I doubt you will be successful. Fuck you. Look, all I want is to talk. Talk is a wonderful thing that sadly is so often erased from this world. We have lost the simple art of debate, replaced it with assassinations and murder. I have no desire to harm any of the dukes sitting here. All I want is to plead my case and allow the princeling to plead his. If you ally with the Empire of Steel, I guarantee that there will be peace between our nations. Hell, I'm willing to share our wealth and technology in return for some of those famed Moriosian imports. If you make the correct decision tonight, you will all be protected. He's lying! I am not. And to be clear, you all certainly have no leg to stand on. You have been far from protective of the dukes or their people. As Duke McWurzbigel will attest, you murdered 3 sailors and almost killed him during your attempted assassination of Machna Orum. And before that, 2 months ago, Your group killed 3 border guards protecting the bridge between Slegish and Turlish. Your party has a long history of bloodshed. The Empire has committed genocide on multiple occasions. Well, hold on. The Empire has committed genocide on multiple occasions. The term genocide is a bit strong, but you're right. In the early days of my empire, as we were getting our footing, we killed some savage lizards in the Metal Desert. I don't know if it's really genocide, if it isn't a person, but you don't get the right to define what a person is. The point is, that was in the past. I know a guy who is out for revenge because of the emotional trauma you gave him. Ah, yes, I've heard about him. Caravander, if I remember correctly. It was terrible what he did to the King of Woodwillow, that horrid assassination. The point is, every war has its casualties. You don't get to say what's in the past. You don't have that right. Calm down. This is a civil discussion. I have no desire, unless you push me, to do the same thing in Morios. What about Woodwillow? What, the taking of a few farmers? That's nothing. So, you admit it. The great beast, the weapons that can end wars in a day, need to be powered. Imagine how many casualties there would have been if the war in Braza had not ended so quickly. We would have ended the war in Woodwillow quickly as well if you terrorists hadn't came in and whispered dangerous ideas to the king. Woodwillow surrendered, you started the war again, and do you know what happened? We were forced to burn Fiore to the ground. Because of you. I don't want lengthy wars. I want to complete my quest as soon as possible so that everyone may know peace. Sounds like you're just finding justifications to start wars. Look, we aren't talking about important people. In Woodwillow, we took away the sick, the elderly, the criminal. We took unproductive members of society and gave them a use. We did the same to our own unproductives in the Empire. I have made the same sacrifice as the people of Woodwillow. No, you have not. You all hate me, but remember, we fought well together. You could all be a great asset to my empire. I'm willing to pay each of you your weight in gold, give you military promotions, vast tracts of land. There is not enough money in the world to get me to raise the land I was born in. Maybe there is for you, but not for me. I am not doing this for land or wealth, and certainly not for a worship of bloodshed. I dream of a world of strength. Ruled not by committee or by cowards too weak to even lift their crowns. A world of warriors who take what they want. A world where the weak are not coddled by old fools, where those who are superior are allowed to live as they see fit, unburdened by the concerns of others. That is what I want. My empire is wealthy. Our technology is advanced. My people live in comfort and dignity. I can give this to you. Don't throw away your lives and your men to prop up a country that is already destroyed. Join me. Join my empire of steel. You're advocating for a world where the strong do what they want? Okay, my response is this. Pimmick casts Fireball, carefully aimed to hit Gil and only Gil. Gil saved on his next roll. He burst out of the fireball, grabbed Pimmick by the throat, and slammed him down on the table. All I wanted was a simple, civil conversation. Those wars you started, they were civil conversations, right? Look around this room. Dukes, generals, royalty, we are not the type of people who settle things through some fucking fireball throwing. That is for the soldiers. You do not belong here. Gil tossed Pimmick halfway across the room. Bigglesworth's soldiers surrounded him. Fine, I'm done. I heard what you had to say, it's bullshit. Have a nice day. The soldiers dragged Pimmick outside. I know what you're talking about. I was raised here in this shitty palace. I lived a life of wealth, power, strength, whatever you want to call it. It's not worth protecting. I had to leave this place to find a life worth anything at all. My value comes from the people I care about. Not all of them privileged, not all of them strong. Good, common people who you can never understand. You want to rule with power, but what's going to happen to Morios when you decide you're strong enough to kill the dukes and take over? I could crush Morios, sure. But if these dukes ally with me, there will not be an enemy to crush. I'm not afraid. We went ahead with you once, and we won. Right now, Vixen, you are only alive because of my mercy. I could have killed you twice, the night with the shadows, and again when the Big Bopper's dragon devastated you. But I chose to let you live, partially because I owed a debt for that fight with the Beholder, and partially because I respect you. It wouldn't have been right for such strong men to die in their sleep. I spared you so you could die with honor. Do not make me regret that choice. Pimmet walked past the palace to the shore and stared out at the ocean. He saw a massive stone fin stretching out of the ocean. He ran back inside. Hey, just so you know, there's an Empire ship right by the palace. First, it's 12 miles away. That's international waters. And, more importantly, it will not attack if the Dukes agree to ally with the Empire. But if you make war with the Empire, you will have war with the Empire. Bullshit. You aren't the type to make allies. You're the type that wants to be in control. It's up to the Dukes if they want to take that risk. Yeah, it's up to you if you want to live with your mouths on his boot. It's shocking that the son of a Duke could be so childish. Come on, Gil. Don't you just want to go mask off, go apeshit, and stop wearing this mask of civility? Because if I have to hear one more fake-ass platitude about the beauty of debate, I am going to start stabbing. Sit down, Graven. The time for voting has come. We're still missing Muddy. Then, we shall vote without her. What happens if there is a tie? We default to inaction. We shall not declare war on the Empire and will remain neutral. Fine by me. I already have everything I need from this country. Graven glared at his father. Are you okay with this? Being pushed around by this asshole? Come on, don't be a bitch. No one pushes me around. My choices are mine and mine alone. One by one, the Dukes cast their votes. Oh, I didn't want to have to go first. Look, guys, I respect you a lot. I think the things that are going on in Woodwillow are horrible, but that doesn't justify the violence or immaturity we've seen today. More importantly, I don't want to get blown up by a giant shark monster. I vote to make peace with the Empire. I do detest fighting for a losing side, but my word is my bond, and I have promised to give aid to Woodwillow. I vote for war. My position remains clear. A strong military alliance with the Empire is better than a devastating war. Also, fuck you. Gilderoy laughed. Oh, that is music to my ears. Thank you, Duke McWorthspigel, for your loyalty. And thank you as well, Duke Conward, for choosing sanity. Stop talking. The vote isn't over yet. Isn't it? The door to the palace swung open. In limped Muddy Wench, being held by the shoulder by Hugo. Not yet, Emperor. Not yet. I vote to fight the Empire with all the strength we can muster, Wench panted, sitting down at the table. How'd everyone else vote? Right now it's 2-2. The decision rests in my hands, as it should. In times like these, what a nation needs is not indecisive debate. What it needs is a king who can take the reins and steer a nation in the proper direction. It needs a man like Gilderoy, a man like myself. God damn it. I agree with much of what the Emperor of Steel has said today. I bear no love for the people of Woodwillow, and honestly, the idea of disposing of the useless members of society is appealing. I too dream of a world of strength, but the problem is, there can only be one king of Morios, and I will never bend the knee to some foreign brat who thinks he can tell me how to run my country. Morios stands with Woodwillow. We will begin sending troops to liberate the country as soon as possible. Gil sighed and stood up. I'm not surprised by this outcome, just very disappointed in all of you. You have 6 hours before the Great Shark destroys this city. I recommend you use that time to evacuate. I have a different suggestion. How about, as the first act of this war, we take a political prisoner? You think you're clever, but that will not get you far. If you lay another finger on me, I will destroy this goddamn palace with the force of a god. Sounds like a win-win to me. Graven drew his sword and stabbed at Gil. Gil dodged the stab and slashed Graven across the chest. Epsilon leaped in, drawing his own sword, and hit Gil in the back. Seeing an opening, Graven tackled the Emperor and attempted to grapple him. This should not have worked. Graven had a -1 athletics, Gil had a +9. But D&D is a game of luck and chaos as often as it is a game of strategy. They rolled contested athletics 12 versus 3, with the modifiers 11 versus 12. Pimmet used his wild magic to bend luck, lowering Gil's 12 to a 10. The Emperor of Steel was grappled. Epsilon and Graven held him down as Vixen tied him up. Wesel panicked and pulled out the Sending Stone, planning to use it to call for reinforcements. Pimmet counterspelled the stone's activation, causing it to fizzle out and die. Well, shit! Graven grabbed Gil's sword from the ground and tossed it away. Do not touch that sword! It is my birthright! How I proved myself Emperor! Hey, you're the one who talked about right back conquest! Graven stabbed Gil in the side. I say we kill him right now. Oh, also sorry about getting blood on your nice floors, Dad. Look at you, you animals! Murdering an unarmed, tied-up man, a foreign diplomat who only wanted to talk. You want the strong to do what they want? Guess what, Gil? You're weak right now, and I'm gonna do what I want. Gil roared as he broke free of his bindings, tossing the pile of soldiers off him. Hugo chronal shifted the roll, and Pimmet bended luck to make it fail again. I began to panic because my big bad endgame was getting cheesed to death before he could do any of the evil stuff I had planned. Hugo picked up Gil's lightning sword. Put it in Chester! Chester? Oh right, we haven't explained that yet. It's basically a bag of holding on legs. It follows us around. Also, everything we stick into it gets covered in honey. A light bulb appeared over Pimmet's head. A bag of holding only has 10 minutes worth of air in it. If we put the Emperor in, he'll suffocate. No, please, not that. Anything but that. Players grabbed Gilderoy and dragged him to the chest. Please, let me die with honor. A death on the battlefield. That's all I want. Hey, don't be a bitch. I asked the players one more time if they were sure they wanted to put Gil in the chest. Pimmet's player was positive. They shoved the Emperor into the box and closed the lid. Pimmet's player asked if that's how I expected Gil to die. I told him the truth, that I had not imagined in a million years that Gil would be defeated in that particular way.